Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Macrocast, your source for news and entertainment with the minds behind Macro Records. We're your hosts. I'm Madsen.
I'm Downlow'd. Welcome back to another fantastic, beautiful, awesome, amazing, wonderful week.
Oh, yes. And if you can't tell, my voice sounds completely different, so...
Alex is sick.
I'm sick as a
He's
dog.
He's down with the sickness. Dude, I saw a band recently post some video to Facebook, and they were like, this guy's a sweet rapper. And I watched it because I like the band, and this guy was like, listen, man, I don't do this professionally or whatever, but he was like, I grew up with Korn, and he was like, oh, boom, no. And I was like, dude, this is the dumbest video I've ever seen, man.
Oh, my
Who
God.
does that? Who, thinks that it's badass to get up on stage and go, kaboom, no.
Like doing a haka or something?
Dude, he was like from Korn, or that was cool when, back in the day when I was 6 years old, and Disturbed was like, I'm down with the sickness, I'm looking up, that's you right now, dude.
Yeah, I'm just totally down with the sickness.
I'm down with the sickness.
So this week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the movies we watched last week. We're saving a bunch of topics for next week, so if you're thinking to yourself, well, I wonder why they didn't talk about this or that, we will probably be talking about it next week. Yeah, exactly.
We're saving it like my virginity. Guys, if you want to take my virginity, just tweet us.
I'm not sure what track we're featuring this week, but it'll be a track.
It'll be a good one. It'll be a mediocre. It'll be pretty good.
And then next week we'll be back with new original releases. We already previewed the whole first LSD EP, and we previewed the whole second one as well. The first one comes out next week, so we'll announce that next week. Let's jump into movies.
Let's jump into them.
Real quick, let's talk about the Jungle Book trailer.
Oh, dude.
Live action
I'm so
Jungle
excited
Book
that
trailer.
we're talking about this. Did you watch? You watched the trailer?
I watched it.
You didn't seem excited about it at all.
It looks good. I mean, I was never a huge...
You're not a huge Disney
movie fan.
Oh, you're fucking crazy.
I mean, Lion King was my shit.
Dude, I grew up with those movies. I was fucking smoking blunts when I was 3 years old.
Oh, yeah.
The first movie I ever saw was Disney's Robin Hood.
Oh, really?
So maybe that, and I've been to Disneyland a million times. I have
I saw Jungle Book when I was a kid, but Jungle Book never really stuck with me as much as Lion King did. I'll say that much.
Well, dude, come the fuck on. The Lion King was an enormous movie.
Well, so was Jungle Book.
Dude, The Lion King was one of the first movies that Disney had that was like, holy shit, we made billions of dollars on this movie,
So what do you think about the live action aspect of this? People have been talking about it.
So Disney is now, since Maleficent, they've been on this, run of doing serious remakes.
They had Maleficent, Cinderella, and they're doing Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yes. Jungle Book looks fucking badass. I totally thought it was gonna suck. The weird thing is they have the animals talk, and they look really realistic.
Yeah, so
but it's kind of cool.
It does look okay,
dude. The snake is played by Scarlett Johansson, and I didn't realize that the trailer is her talking the whole time.
Oh, really?
Then at the very end, she's like, "Trust me." That's fucking awesome, man. It doesn't have the same weird feeling as Ka from the original movie, who was kind of on an acid trip through the whole thing. He's like, Mowgli.
I feel like a lot of people were really surprised how good this trailer was, and now are really excited for this movie.
Well, they got John Favreau to do. How do you spell it? It's Favreau, yeah. John Favreau to do this movie. He did Iron Man, and apparently, so the kid in this is they shot a real child, but it's pretty much all CG.
Oh, okay.
It's all rendered. Child is.
Oh, okay. And the person who voices it is
no.
older.
They used a real model for the kid, and the actual kid did a bunch of stuff, but they rendered the child doing jumping off cliffs and stuff.
Yeah.
So most of the movie is actually live action, but CG, because CG is so good now.
Yeah.
It looks really fucking good, and there's a lot of callbacks to There's a lot of callbacks to... there's a fan running. I'll turn it off right now. There's a lot of callbacks to the original movie as well. You hear Baloo in the water, and he's whistling. And guys, if you want to see the actual animated... It's kind of a short film. It's 30 minutes long. That the Jungle Book, the original Disney Jungle Book, is based on. You can go to the Macrocast Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I posted that a couple days ago.
Cool.
We would
And
appreciate
that's-
your likes, too.
That's facebook.com/the Macrocast. And real quick, if you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to go on iTunes and leave us a review. We'll read your reviews live on the show as well.
So much better now.
Yeah. Now there's no longer a fan. We usually shut it off. It just happened to be on this time.
The only fans that are here are you guys now. We can focus on you.
So,
But the Jungle Book trailer looks great.
yeah.
I'm excited. When is that coming out? Do you know?
The movie? It's probably going to be a while, man.
But you're like the movie as opposed to what? The book?
The second trailer?
The actual Jungle Book?
The
second trailer?
Wait, I seriously just typed in jungle movie.
It probably popped up, right?
No, it didn't. It popped. Some article popped up about jungle terror that I had looked up when you first told me about it.
About WeWek or what?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
dog.
let's see. 15th of April, 2016.
2019.
No.
Like, wow, they're really setting this one up, aren't they? Okay, well, that's dope.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled for that one, folks.
So last week we confessed to never having seen Avatar.
Oh, you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. It was really good. I enjoyed all of it. It was kind of depressing.
You're a little late on that one,
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
That came out in like 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Well, I told you. I just, it's one of those movies where I missed it when it was in theaters, and I just never bothered to watch it.
Sigourney Weaver's in that movie.
Yeah, it tripped me out. Sigourney Weaver and
Who's the main guy in it?
he played Perseus in Clash of the Titans, and he's been Sam Worthington.
He's not really like a huge actor.
He's a pretty big actor, dude.
He's not. He hasn't been in that much stuff lately, though, has he?
I mean, not lately, but he was in those Clash of the Titans.
He's like, I got that
movies.
Avatar money, bro.
His character and Sigourney Weaver's character, their avatars look so trippy because they look like them.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean,
This was the first movie to like really, really use crazy CG.
Yeah,
Like, you know, like all out. I mean, the Matrix
CCH
did
Pounder was awesome.
too. Dude, you're all. Well, as you guys know, we are all about CCH Pounder. I'm actually thinking about changing the podcast name to the CCH Poundcast.
I'm okay with that, 100%.
Have her as a host.
I didn't know they're making 3 more of these movies.
Avatar, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it was massively successful.
yeah,
Whenever a movie's like really successful, the studio's like, dude, we got to do another one, you know?
yeah. I'm totally down with it. The first one was good.
So we also watched another movie.
Yes,
Fine, we were both a little bit late to this party as well.
another movie which I missed in theaters, but I was able to, jump on this much sooner than it took me to get to Avatar.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
That's a movie that I kind of within the first 15 or 10 minutes of watching it, I messaged Alex. I was like, I really regret not seeing this in theaters because it's
good.
really well. It's visually stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, but for the first 30 minutes, I mean, even so, I think for the whole time I was watching, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, it's that crazy. And I like that they didn't really, there's no real exposition. I don't know if it's the previous Mad Max movies that really, like, expose what happened or whatever, but you just kind of jump in. And,
yeah.
Is the Mad Max
It's a lot different than the other Mad Max
Is it the same
movies.
continuity or not even?
No, I don't. Well, maybe it is, but it's
a different Max.
Yeah, which it kind of makes sense because the original trilogy and like the video games and this new movie are all kind of separate from each other.
Oh, there are video games. There's also a video game called Serious Sam, though.
Well, there was a new Mad Max video game came out 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
it
really fucking cool.
Excuse me. Is it like based on the
movie? No,
yeah.
It's a whole different Max, but it's very much in that same post-apocalyptic world.
Okay.
The guy who played Immortan Joe, Hugh Keays-Byrne, he was also in the original Mad Max movie as Toe Cutter.
Oh, really?
So he played a different character. I loved every single thing about this movie.
Yeah,
it was really fucking good.
The only thing that was a little bit weird, in my opinion, were the flashbacks that kept happening. It seems like they kind of shot all of that, like, kind of last minute and spent a ton of money doing everything else, but they needed the flashbacks, so they did it, like, on
I can't tell you how worried I was in the first 5 minutes of the movie when there was, like, flashbacks. I was like, those flashbacks look terrible.
Yeah, it seems like they just that's the one criticism I have about the movie, but it's like, the rest of the movie is so good.
Those flashbacks totally redeem themselves later on in the movie. They get better.
It's kind of like the whole reason that they use that, spoiler alert, is that, like, just to save him from getting shot in the head. Like, it was kind of like a Deus and Machina thing. Like, he was like, oh, like, you know what I mean? That was really like the whole purpose of that thing.
Nicholas Hoult as Nux was fucking awesome.
He had and then he had a really interesting story arc that was just like, the movie itself was really simple but really well made.
Yeah.
Like, his story arc, he's like crying, and then one of those wives like comforts him, and you can tell there's an emotional connection. But it's good that they don't like actually kiss, or like nothing actually happens right there. And then at the very end, they like reach out to each other, and it's kind of like they never really embraced or fulfilled that, which makes it more gratifying, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The one thing I didn't need to see through this whole movie, which I'm glad never happened, was there was no like on-screen kiss.
Between
anybody.
Well,
there was no like, oh, so Hollywood.
We've already warned there's going to be spoilers at the end when Max is leaving. Like, you think him and Furiosa are going to get together, right? But no, Max can't live like that.
Max has
is leaving.
2 dicks, dude. He needs a chick with 2 hands.
I love how the movie starts off too, where Max just fucking steps on that lizard thing and puts it in his mouth and is like sucking it down his throat.
That happens a couple times though. So Nux eats that bug.
Yeah.
Like, it's crawling, and you think he's like, he lets it crawl over his fingers, then he eats it. It's kind of a representation of the world that they live in. You know, it's every man for himself. The breast
milk too.
That was disgusting, and that was like They never even like it. Just
it's important though, because like Immortan Joe controlled the whole supply of water, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and he pumps out breast milk, and the War Boys they know it. They call it mother's milk, and you even see Nux drink it at one point.
Everyone drinks it.
Yeah.
There's another part that I thought was kind of lame. And it was like when Furiosa like figures out that everything is like, it's not the way it seems, and she like just falls to her knees. I was like, such a cliche, but it worked. It was fine. There's no part. Okay, let me just say, there's no part of this movie.
She kind of stole the show in the whole movie. I think. It almost felt less about Max and more about Furiosa.
It was. Points. It really kind of was. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't say that she stole the show. I think the acting was good on all parts, but. It was just like she falls to her knees, and that's not her fault at all. It's like, that's kind of a direction thing. Like, there could have been, how else is she going to express her angst? And like, she like drops to her knees and she's like, ah, you know, it's like, okay, I've seen that a billion times before, you know? But the whole movie, I mean, honestly, the movie is like 10 of 10.
Honestly, out of all the Mad Max movies, the cars were the fucking best in this movie.
Dude,
everything
the
looks
weapons
so good.
And it was really, watching this it's like watching Cirque du Soleil.
It's a feast for your eyes, most definitely.
A feast for your
eyes.
It is. The things that you say on this podcast, man, you're like, oh yes, feast for your eyes.
It is.
That sounds so carnal and disgusting. It's a feast for your eyes.
It is.
It makes me. You know what a feast for my eyes was? Is seeing those like morbidly obese women getting their boobs milked in that movie. And okay, so Immortan Joe, he wasn't like attached to the mask. Was he like surgically? Because it ripped his fucking face off.
It was something like that, but he needed it to keep him alive. I don't think he ever takes the mask off. It probably is just fused with his skin.
I thought he put it on in the very beginning.
No, he put on the other thing in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you saw like all the sores and blisters on him and shit.
Dude, everyone in that movie is fucking disgusting. And then like he had 2 brothers, right? And those were his brothers. The gun.
Rictus was his son.
No, not Rictus. The guy with the huge foot was his brother.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then there was the bullet.
Dude, that foot is disgusting.
That was the people eater.
Yeah.
And then the bullet farmer.
The other guy.
That was also his brother.
Yeah.
And they were both total idiots. Like one of them ended up blind. It's so gratifying to just see these people get fucked up, and you don't even know anything about him. But the picture is like so obscure, you know, like. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like looking at a Picasso.
Yeah, the whole feel of the movie is very much in the vein of the original Mad Max, and that's one of the best. Like the combat scenes are sped up really fast, and it feels jerky at times.
I mean, my point is that we don't know who the bullet farmer is. Like they never give us any exposition on who that character is, but he just has a name and a cool costume. And good acting.
That's the thing about the Mad Max universe, is there's so much in this wasteland, so many different clans, so many different types of people.
I'm sure there's a lot of fan fiction or something.
Well, I mean, there was one like real-time strategy game I saw a while back that was based on Mad Max.
Like Risk?
No, well, not a board game.
Oh.
Like a computer game.
Oh,
Where it's
like The Sims?
it's like turn-based. Like you're taking your convoy through to the next camp, or
Like
something.
Oregon Trail?
Kind of, and it's like two dudes are attacking from the left, or there's all sorts of other Mad Max content that's been created too.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so, like, as previously stated when we spoke about Avatar, that movie has sequels, and there's a sequel of Mad Max coming. And the one thing that I thought of when the movie ended is Max is walking away, right? And I was like, I'd be down to watch a sequel, see what happens to him.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reason that they did that. As opposed to, like, I mean, how would they open up another movie where, like, Max is like he's like king with Furiosa or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, we're having relationship problems. Like, no, Max.
I thought you were gonna say, oh, we're having relations.
Yeah, and that too. We had relations. Now there's problems. But Max had to leave.
Yeah,
and it was almost like a very, I don't know. I feel like I've seen an image like that in some of those like old biblical movies almost, where he's like walking away, but he's the hero. You know, he did all this stuff, and his redemption is that he fulfilled his like himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was kind of I don't know. We don't really know very much about this Max.
Yeah, he said so little the entire movie.
All that we know about him is they're like, save us, Max, like the flashbacks.
Well, yeah, he
did kind of get better.
He talks about it in the beginning, like it's the same Max. He was a policeman at one point, and his family was murdered by one of the gangs or the clans, and
wait, but how was that his family? There were like it was probably his tribe or something.
Other people that he tried to save is what I'm thinking too.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But he talks about it in the beginning. How his family's gone.
It's funny because all of these like pieces that were left out of the movie kind of make it a better movie. It lets you like imagine what instead of like just I'm kind of sick of Hollywood just giving you things like this is what it is.
It out for you.
Yeah, that's I mean it's 2015 and that's how everything is these days. You know, like I don't know. It is what it is. Another subject from Mad Max. I sent you a bunch of trailers. I don't think that we're going to talk about this, I don't think it's a topic. But there's this movie production studio called The Asylum that makes like all of these low budget knockoffs of other movies, and like they made like Transmorphers.
They're terrible.
It's the same company that did Sharknado.
Yeah.
And Sharknado 2, Sharknado 3, and Sharknado 4. But they've literally done I mean, imagine any movie that was a huge blockbuster, they've made a shitty like green screen, shitty actor version. Like they produced a version for like $500,000.
Yeah.
Where like the blockbuster cost like $250 million to make. Like you liked Pacific Rim? There's Atlantic Rim. You know what I mean? Instead of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or the Last Crusade or whatever, it's Alan Quatermain and the Temple of something. You know? I don't know. It's really funny, but you've definitely seen these DVDs if you go to like a truck stop, or they're like really shitty DVDs sitting in the bargain bin,
like $5 DVDs,
or less. But that's their whole model. And the funny thing is that this company, The Asylum, has never lost money on a movie.
Well, I mean, they spend so little, probably.
Well, I mean, they still spend they've spent like $1 million on a movie before, and they make the money back just because their whole business model is to like people who are like, yeah, I can spend $5,
and then they're like, oh my god, that movie was fucking terrible.
But it's kind of almost, it should be illegal in my opinion, because like a lot of their money is made by people who don't know any better. So like grandma knows that you love Transformers, but she goes out and she doesn't know Transformers from Transmorphers. So she's like, I got the Transmorphers. It was the cheap one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seems like wrong. And those movies are so bad. It just doesn't even make sense. I don't know what their end game is.
I don't think I'd ever want to watch a full one.
I think that we should one day.
Oh no.
I think for the podcast we should do that. I've also I came across this other thing just because people were talking about, someone said that people should watch these movies and just rip on them. If you like Mystery Science Theater 3000, which I was a huge fan of, if you guys don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's this guy and two robot aliens, basically, that just make fun of really campy, shitty old movies. Did you ever watch it?
Mm-hmm.
I loved Mystery Science Theater 3000. But there's this thing called riff tracks now. And I watched the riff tracks for Ben Affleck's Daredevil, and I retract any statements I made before about that movie being even vaguely good.
Yeah, it's not good.
I didn't remember it, really. Like, I watched, and the suit looks fucking bad. Everything just looks bad.
It looks, like, shiny. Like, really shiny.
In the riff tracks thing, though, so Ben has to fight Jessica or what's her name? Jennifer Garner.
His wife.
Elektra, to get her name. And he fights her and all this good shit. It's a terrible fucking playground fight scene. And then she's like, my name is Electra Nachos. And the guys from Riff Tracks were like, Electric Nachos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
why was Jennifer Garner Elektra? And even then,
she's attractive.
But she is one of the worst actresses in all of Hollywood. I'm sorry.
They could have.
Her husband is one of the best actresses, and she is one of the worst.
Wait, repeat that?
Her husband
is one of the best actresses?
Actors. You
just said her. You were like, she's one of the worst actresses. Her husband is one of the best actresses.
Yeah, he's totally.
Are you revealing something that you know about Ben Affleck to us?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so watching the Riff Tracks thing for Daredevil, and you can watch these on YouTube. They just have the best of the Riff Tracks things, which is kind of the way to go. You just watch a 10-minute clip of the movie instead of watching the whole fucking movie. But a lot of the time, they make Daredevil so Batman-y. Like, you know, and several times those guys were like, I'm Batman. And they made this way before Ben Affleck was announced as Batman. So I just thought that was even funnier. It made me think, like, did the people who were casting for Warner Bros. For the new BVS think that, like, they watched, like, Daredevil and they were like, yeah, there's a lot of, like...
He could play Batman.
A lot of potential here.
I don't think so, man, because it was probably
Bruce fucking Tim.
Well, I guarantee you Zack Snyder had a big part in deciding who was going to play Batman.
I'm telling you, man, like, I'm sorry, but I some of these guys in comics, like, I've unfollowed so many people on Twitter this last week because I see, like, the shit that they post. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Remember how I was talking shit about Max Landis? Like, okay, Max Landis knows a lot about comic books. I concede. He probably knows more about comic books than I do, but some of his opinions are fucking stupid. And
I agree.
His most recent one was they posted a story on Movie Pilot where they were quoting him as saying, like, he had a plan for Batman to take out every one of the Avengers. And it's like, okay, we know Batman can do this to the Justice League because he knows them intimately, and he's been planning that shit for years. But if you thrust Batman into the Marvel Universe, he's probably not going to take out the entire Avengers.
I mean, it would take a significant amount of time for him to study every single one of them.
Well, and Max Landis was like, oh, he can take out Vision with an EMP and, like, all this bullshit. I was like, dude, he's not going to take out Vision with an EMP.
Well, yeah, definitely not Vision with the crystal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking impossible. But
Well, an EMP couldn't even take out Tony Stark, dude.
Yeah. I mean, but Batman could probably do it, but it would take a lot of fucking time for him
if he fought them one-on-one, maybe. But how's he gonna stop Hulk and Thor, dude?
He would figure out a way. Batman is super fucking smart.
No, I know. He's probably the greatest intellect in all of comics. But
if he's saying that he's just gonna get thrown into the world and defeat them all, like, on a whim, like, that's bullshit. But, dude, like, I also feel... Okay,
but I don't think he could beat Hulk or Thor, man.
You don't think that Batman could beat Hulk or Thor? Well, Thor is a god. But Superman is also a god. Batman is really good at pinpointing weaknesses.
Exactly.
Thor kind of has no weaknesses, though.
Thor doesn't have a single weakness, and neither does Hulk, really, man. Like, with Superman, his weakness is kryptonite. It's easy for Batman to find a way to stop him.
I mean, but Hulk is in many ways a lot like a character like Solomon Grundy or like what's the dude? I mean, Darkseid versus Hulk.
Yeah,
Darkseid is crazy. You know,
but Batman has stopped Darkseid before.
I mean, I think
by himself.
Batman got killed by Darkseid.
True.
Like
what? But one
of his Omega beams.
What about spoiler alert? What about Batman now on the Mobius chair in the comics?
That is fucking ridiculous.
Batman's like, I'm a god now.
Dude, okay, first of all, the Mobius chair would never accept Batman.
It has.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Is this why you were like, I don't like the direction that Batman's going?
No, that's Justice League. I think that's awesome.
Dude, the Mobius
It's better than Batman working in a library and being like, I don't know who Batman was.
Okay, I just finished reading Flashpoint, actually, and I'm gonna get back to New 52 now. But reading Flashpoint, I was like amazed at how closely and how well they made the movie. It's pretty much exactly the same.
The animated feature.
The movie is almost even better than the comic.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But you know what? It's I mean, Bruce Timm was not involved. I think that anything that Bruce Timm gets involved in is so golden age, and like it just doesn't appeal.
I mean,
to me.
and that's why he's famous for Batman the Animated Series,
Dude,
which
well,
is like
I enjoyed Batman the Animated Series. It's a different thing, though. It's more like it's not modern Batman.
It's the beginning of modern Batman. It definitely is, dude.
It's not Warner Bros. Era Batman.
It's not Adam West era Batman either.
No, but it's it's yeah. I got you. It's like kind of it's not golden age. It's more like modern age.
Silver to modern, probably.
Yeah, for sure. But I've kind of almost given up on rewatching Green Lantern the Animated Series. Now that I've read the books, and Bruce Timm was heavily involved in Green Lantern the Animated Series, and it's like, God, this is not even close to the source material. Like, they just pack so much bullshit in.
Yeah.
And Green Lantern is kind of like, it's amazing because that's like such a great brand and so many great stories there, and they can't seem to fucking do it right. Like, no matter, it's like, just stick to the fucking source material. I mean, I know that it's really expensive to make a Green Lantern movie. Yeah. Or to do a Green Lantern show or something like that, but
I think a lot of people are wary too, because like if you take Watchmen for example, like that movie was 100% the comics, like word for word, and a lot of people didn't like it. Got really bad reviews.
Made a lot of money though.
It did, but
dude,
it was
love that movie.
It's a good movie. I do too.
But that movie's like also, it's like Justice League, but super dark and super like who's the guy's name? That Alan Moore, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the movie being the comic books word for word, pretty much. Like it's a very true adaptation.
I mean, I got you. I think that and I'm gonna get so flamed for this, but I honestly, just because I'm a Green Lantern fan, I think that the source material for Green Lantern is kind of better than Watchmen. I mean, the story for Watchmen is profound, but there's more story arcs with Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Like, there's more stuff that's happened. There's more villains. Like, you see, like, the Sinestro Corps War, and you have characters like Slush and Carousel and Crib, who's like a child snatcher, and Intergalactic, they're all hideous, you know? I mean, and
no,
CG
I
is
agree.
good enough.
There's a lot of good characters and storylines in those comic books, and all comic books for that matter, that haven't been explored on screen.
Or yeah, they absolutely. Okay, so in watching the riff tracks for Daredevil, who pops up but fucking Kevin Smith.
Uh-huh.
Kevin Smith is the morgue guy in Daredevil, and he's like, have I got something to show you. Like, he's talking to one of the dudes that was on like CSI or Law and Order or some shit. Dude, that movie is just such a fucking stain.
Yeah.
It makes me, after watching the Daredevil Netflix series, which I was kind of like, but I thought it was good. I thought it was really good, but oh my god, it's so much better than the movie.
Oh, easily.
And I don't, like, who thought like Michael Clark Duncan should play Kingpin? They're just like, he's a big guy for you.
I mean, I kind of like that. That was like the one thing I liked about that movie was Michael Clark Duncan.
But they didn't really reveal anything about Kingpin till the very end. And they're like, let's just have him fight in like water. Let's have a fucking water fight. Like, what, dude? And I kept, okay, so for the first 10 minutes of watching Mad Max, I was like, that's Bane. I couldn't get it. Like,
well,
his voice is very much he's very Bane-ish anyways.
Very banal. Look, his body is completely different. Like when he played Bane, he was a fucking monster. Like,
yeah, he was jacked as fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, still, in my opinion, not as ripped as Bane should have been. Like in the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, no way.
I know
there was no Venom though.
Yeah. Well, he was kind of like, you know, it's funny. He was kind of like the Bane in the Young Justice series, without the Venom.
Bane and Young Justice. Oh, but he still was.
But without like the whole Mexican Latino thing.
Yeah.
Like in Young Justice, he was played by fucking Danny Trejo.
I got so pissed because Movie Pilot posted an article like, "Here's what Bane could have sounded like in The Dark Knight Rises," and it was like totally true Bane, like how he was supposed to be.
You're supposed to be like, oh,
and in the comments, I was like, "You guys are fucking idiots. This is what Bane is supposed to sound like." And
they don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing with Movie Pilot is they're fan-written articles.
Oh, really?
So sometimes you get, you know, people who know what they're talking about.
Total horseshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But go ahead.
Speaking about TV, I also I've been watching Vixen like each week.
I haven't watched any of that.
It got good, and I feel...
Are they still only like 5-minute episodes? Dude.
I feel like you should wait probably until they're all out and just
Watch the whole thing.
Because it feels like this could be one, like, short feature, you know? All together, it's going to be, like, one short feature.
How many, like, 30 minutes?
So far, there's 20 minutes worth of content.
So how many, there's going to be 30 in total?
I don't know. I wonder if they're doing 10 episodes, so that'll be 50 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm down with that, dude. So there's only, how many episodes have you watched?
4.
Oh,
but
that's all they have?
They're like, they are really bite-sized, because by the end of one, I'm like, well, fuck, I want to see what happens
more.
now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I really think that they're kind of gauging audience response and seeing if people are interested in it, but how can you really, like, hook people with only 5 minutes of content?
One of my problems with it, too, is, like, you can tell that Stephen Amell and everybody else from the shows has been coached to be, like, more of a voice actor in this, and it throws me off. Like, Stephen Amell sounds completely different.
Really?
Yeah. And Barry, like...
Who plays Barry? Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin. He totally sounds like more... Like, he sounds like Flash, like, from Justice League, almost, which is cool.
I like that.
Yeah, it is cool, but it just throws it off when you're so used to seeing them act and talk a certain way.
I mean, it should be really cohesive.
Yeah.
But, dude, I'm excited for the new season of Flash, but I just feel like they're gonna murder it. Like, I feel like the first season was so strong, and this one's just gonna fucking go straight into the ground.
What if they cancel it after 2 seasons?
Dude, well, because what if they're, like, too ambitious?
Yeah.
That's a big worry of mine, and then we won't see any more DC television stuff. Like, you know? Like, God forbid, man. I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's because now they're doing, like... why are they I don't understand, like, their choices for the characters. They're like, well, we're gonna have Rip Hunter, who, like, no one fucking knows about.
Wait,
I mean, Rip Hunter is cool.
Rip Hunter is
in Legends of Tomorrow.
In Legends of... That's a whole different show.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, with the whole DC television continuity, or CW continuity, at least.
Well, I think we've talked about this before, is they wanted to take the characters that they've already introduced on screen and just kind of, like, throw them into one show, you know?
They haven't introduced Rip Hunter. Well, I guess
No, the whole team, though. It's like Captain Cold and Katie Lotz.
That's
who's
you
fucking...
right now. You're Captain Cold. What if Captain Cold was just a guy that had a cold?
Guy?
He's just a sick dude. He's like, oh, the power of NyQuil.
God, and you know what annoys me, too, in the comic books is fucking Captain Cold is just Lex Luthor's lapdog now.
Actually, dude, I kind of like that he's like... because he's all about money.
The other rogues are like, dude, are we gonna get back to robbing shit? And he's just like working for Lex Luthor.
Dude, for like the past 15 years, the rogues have been like one thing,
and
now this is showing a different side. But do you think that Cold is gonna betray Luthor because he was like, that's all the game, Mirror Master? You know?
Yeah,
when Mirror Master showed up in his mirror, how fucking creepy is that? He's like showering or
whatever.
Yeah,
you definitely don't want to be friends with Mirror Master because he just shows up at your fucking mirror.
He's like watching you in the mirror. That's so fucking weird, dude. But Lex Luthor has really like, he's still kind of a conniving motherfucker.
Oh, easily.
But he's, I mean, I don't know, man. Watching Lex Luthor, like...
I won't spoil it, but what's going on with him and Superman right now in Justice League is really awesome.
Are they banging?
Yeah, they're totally engaged in
threesome with Lois Lane.
Yeah.
I think that Lex Luthor is one of the most profound characters in the entire DC universe. Like, a lot of people give him hate because it's just like, why would this character on first glance, like, he doesn't seem that interesting. But in the comics, they've done a really good job of fleshing him out, and then he's got like this whole good bad thing going on, you know?
I think as a character, he's been designed to be someone that most readers they reject him almost. They're like, they don't agree with his stance on issues, or like
they shouldn't.
He's a bad guy, you know.
He is a bad dude,
and he's not very likable, you know.
He's just a pretentious rich fuck.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's way more than that. He's got a lot of layers. He's like an onion, dude. Lex Luthor is like a big bald.
So
onion.
Basically, he's like Shrek.
He's like an onion.
Yeah.
In Blackest Night, there's a point. So Lex Luthor's sister, I'm sure you know, you read it. She's crippled, right?
Yeah.
In Blackest Night, which is pre-New 52, he's in Metropolis, and Superboy like hunts down Lex Luthor, right? And Lex Luthor like concocts this thing in like 15 minutes that can save his sister from being paralyzed, like get her out of the wheelchair. So he does it, and then he takes it away from her just to show that he's a piece of shit.
Wow.
And Superboy was like, I know who Lex Luthor is. He's the guy who saved his sister and took it all away. Yeah. Just because he was trying to manipulate Superboy into doing something. He was like, I'll take my sister's legs away again. Like, he gives no fucks.
Yeah, he's not a nice guy.
But then seeing him kind of turn that page over, and then he's had that whole thing with Brainiac too, which I'm really into.
In the TV show. Was that a real storyline?
I think that it's happened in the comics too. I'm not sure, but having watched Young Justice again and then seeing, I totally forgot that there was Roy and Arsenal. They were like, they played it out as two different characters.
Well, yeah, one was a Cadmus clone.
Yeah, totally. And he was so full of teen angst. He was like, "Oh, you did." Because
he had been asleep for he'd
been asleep for like 8 years.
Yeah,
and he lost his arm. He was like, "Yeah, you took my arm."
And then he became Arsenal. Yeah.
And then there were points where he was like, "You're not going to take me again." But I kind of wish that they did that in the Arrowverse. Like, it was kind of cool to see two different Roys. I don't know. I'm kind of Roy in the Arrowverse is like, Willa Holland posted a video on her, who plays Thea, posted a video on her Instagram of her like smacking her butt. She was like, "This is how superheroes get ready: raccoon eyes, smack a peach."
I'm not surprised one bit. It seems totally something like Willa Holland would post.
Apparently she's pretty pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like she goes.
Well, her and John Barrowman love to post shit like that.
She's posted some really sketchy shit on her Instagram, and well, not sketchy, but like accidentally posted like nudes on her Instagram
really?
and like deleted it. Yeah, from what I've seen, I don't know if it's like confirmed or whatever, but yeah, I spend too much time on Reddit, guys.
I think so. Let's talk a little. Okay, so real quick, we're going to talk about one TV show, and then we're going to talk about the Emmys, which are happening tonight. If you're listening to the show, the Emmys happened yesterday. And next week, we'll let you guys know who won certain Emmys.
I don't know what TV show you're going to talk about, but I have one to talk about too.
Narcos.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about.
So
have you watched it? Oh,
I've seen the first 3 episodes. You've finished the whole first season.
Narcos. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria.
Yeah.
It's a good show,
It's really
man.
good.
I mean, the reason I started watching is there's a ton of hype. Dylan Francis was actually the guy that like really inspired me to watch it. He posted this thing on Twitter where he was like, I've got that Pablo Escobar game going. He like had a thick mustache, and then Narcos responded, and they were like, "Welcome to the cartel, SA."
That's awesome.
So Dylan Francis Instagrammed it. He was like, "It's official, guys."
Maybe he'll appear on the next season of Narcos.
I talked about that would be fucking ridiculous, dude. I would actually put that show away if they're like Dylan Francis is now in Narcos. He's like,
it's like, what? I thought this show was taking place like when Dylan Francis was born.
Well, this is like, dude, he's not. Dude, Dylan Francis is like 26.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
This show takes place in the 80s.
I feel like I'm a lot younger than I am. I'm 24, but like, yeah. So I talked about this last night with a couple of people who have watched Narcos, and the one thing is that they make that show a little bit too flashy. Like, some of the cars look like really shiny, and like, things are really put together as far as like the color correction and whatnot. Just the cars themselves, even Pablo Escobar's cars probably would not have looked that fresh. He's in fucking Colombia, you know? I mean, he had billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But in the very beginning, he did not. So his cars in the very beginning were a little bit flashy.
He's got the signature Jeep.
He got accustomed to the wealth.
Yeah.
The signature... dude, honestly, I don't even...
You don't get it.
Everyone has talked... That's like the one part that I didn't even realize.
Well, no, it's not a big thing in this show.
The Bronco is what I
Have you seen Blow? You've seen Blow.
Yeah.
With Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's about George Jung.
Yeah, and when he meets Pablo Escobar, and he's got a Jeep there, and like... there was one guy whose name is Pablo Escobar on Twitter, and he was replying to tweets that Jeep America was posting. Yeah.
Well, so Pablo Escobar was just all about.
He had
the
a
Jeeps.
thing for Jeeps, man.
The Jeeps.
The Jeep. Yeah.
Pablo Escobar wasn't in Scarface?
No.
But who was the guy in Scarface that like F. Murray, your cousin, fucking met? And he gets killed, right? Your cousin got killed in that movie.
Yeah.
He gets like thrown out of a helicopter.
Well, his character was Omar Suarez, and they go meet the Colombian drug lord.
So it's kind
That's the guy who's like, "Don't you fuck me, you little monkey."
It's
That's
kind of like based on Pablo Escobar.
A little bit, yeah.
And I mean, that like was happening at the time. So maybe that's why Scarface was such a big deal too, because like it was really like that was totally relevant to what was going on at the time.
Totally, yeah.
And all the Miami stuff. In the show, they're like, if there's another cartel called the Cali Cartel, and they're like, if Miami or if what's it called? If Medellin was Miami, Cali Cartel was New York. It's sophisticated and like they run their business really well, and they like battle all their problems with a team of lawyers, as opposed to like Pablo likes to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Which the most interesting thing about the show is the story arc throughout the show. He becomes a real monster in the very beginning. Like the episodes that you've seen, already by episode 3, he starts like going fucking nuts.
Yeah, by episode 3 is when he really loses it.
It kind of shows that like I don't know what it is. It's like money and power can just totally corrupt a human being.
Well, I think that whole like in terms of the show at least, the whole part where he like is kind of forced out of Congress or whatever that was after one day, and he's like
he turns him totally evil.
Yeah,
like he gets sent off his rocker and decides to start killing everybody. Like I don't know what his mentality was. Why was he like,
well,
you know what?
He was.
I'm gonna show these fuckers.
Well, I think he felt betrayed too that someone gave the photo to that guy, like the mugshot.
I mean, but so he started. I mean,
what? Can you explain the continuity? Because there's obvious continuity issues with the show. Like, the first episode, it starts off, and spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Narcos, we're probably going to spoil some stuff from the first 3 episodes. But in the first episode, that guy Poison is killed in the bar, right?
Yeah.
But
you haven't watched enough.
It goes back in time, and then Poison is back alive, but I feel like they made it where it's almost hard to keep track of what happened when. I don't know.
Poison getting killed is literally the last thing that happens in the entire show.
Oh, okay.
So they tell like that's the very last thing, and then they go back.
It's the first and last thing. I get it.
Yeah, it's kind of like shitty storytelling on that end, but it is what it is. They left it really open for another season too, which is probably definitely going to happen because of all the hype the show has gotten.
Yeah.
Have you? I don't want to spoil it, but have you gotten to the part where Pablo starts bombing people?
No.
Okay, so that's like, you'll see. I mean, this is the real story of Pablo Escobar. Like, he legitimately did do that. So it's not really so much a spoiler as you're watching a historical thing, like, unfold. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
I knew that all of this shit happened. I knew that Pablo Escobar bombed a plane. Like, all kinds of crazy, like, you know what I mean? But watching that, you're like, oh, the way that the acting is really good, and the way that they play it out is really interesting. So it makes the show worth watching, even if you know the story.
Yeah.
And they do really sensationalize it a bit with, like, the relationships.
I love Luis Guzman as...
Dude, he's... as
Gacha.
He's the Mexican.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, that guy really does kind of steal the show. What's... The guy who plays Pablo is very good.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the DEA, La DEA. Who's the...
Wagner Moura plays Pablo.
He's a Brazilian actor.
Yeah.
He's from Brazil.
Boyd Holbrook is the guy who plays Steve Murphy.
He's very good.
And his partner is played by Pedro Pascal.
Who was
Prince Oberyn. Yeah.
Dude, I totally forgot about that while watching Narcos, too.
Really?
Yeah, he is very good. Like, he's a good actor.
Killed my sister!
Dude, you
murder her children!
Dude, I can't believe that. Okay, wait. In Game of Thrones, he is not that Mexican.
No.
He does not have that Hispanic accent. He's not like, you pinche murdered my sister, way! Like,
No.
It's not like that.
They never say way. That's a Mexican thing, too. In Narcos, they never say way. They love mierda.
Yeah.
Pinche mierda.
Dude, there's a lot of, it's very, I mean, they stay very true to the Colombian aesthetic. There's a lot of Colombian slang going on. So instead of saying like hasta luego, they say buen dia.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of stuff like that. I mean, watching that show will make you understand Spanish significantly better. I went to this bar last night that was it's a very, very Latin bar. It's like kind of a El Paso's take on a tequila bar or whatever. And like everyone was speaking Spanish, and I was like, I'm in Narcos right now, dude. Like I was like listening to all of this shit go down. I was like, I know like what everyone's saying, dude. Thank you, Narcos. I appreciate that.
Gracias, Narcos.
It kind of like changed my mind a little bit too. This is the first I've watched foreign films before, but never watched a foreign television show.
Well, maybe the next one you should try out is Hjordis.
What?
It's a Danish comedy. I watched the first episode. It's actually pretty funny.
Hjordis?
Hjordis.
Dude, we never got to talk about this because we kind of rushed through Mr. Robot last time. But in Mr. Robot, there's that one scene, spoiler alert, where what's her name?
Joanna Wellick.
No, his sister.
His sister.
Yeah. That's
not his sister. That's his wife.
No, in Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Wait,
they're lovers, dude.
Who?
Joanna and Tyrell.
No. I'm not. You're thinking about the Danish thing.
Yeah.
She is very Danish.
Yeah.
But no, I'm thinking about what's the main character's name? I forgot his name.
Elliot?
Elliot's sister.
Oh, Darlene.
Darlene. Fuck. And then that who was the other girl that he's like in love with? But
Shayla, the girl who died.
No, not Shayla. The other chick that has like a shitty boyfriend.
Oh God, you're really gonna do this to me,
dude? Okay, you know who I'm talking about, right?
The blonde chick.
You remember, you're really good with names, so I feel comfortable asking you questions like this.
But I
thought that you would just be able to boom, 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 boom. You know?
Well, I was 4 for 5, man.
You did pretty good. You would still be off Millionaire though.
What was her character?
Emily or something? What the fuck was her name, man?
Angela,
yeah.
The actress's name is Portia Doubleday.
Oh yeah, Portia for sure. Wow, that's a porn star name if I ever heard one. When they break into the house that Elliot was in, right, and they're like walking through the back to escape the guy that was, the guy came home, and he walks through the back, and they're like, oh, quick, this way. You realize there's a huge fucking camera right above the window?
Oh, I didn't notice.
Like, it's like, that guy, why did he even go out back? Like, he could have just gone into, see a CCTV or something and be like, oh yeah, there's people right there. There were just a couple of things about Mr. Robot that I thought were weird.
I feel like you can find things like that in any TV show, if you look hard enough.
I mean, the show's well made enough. I just knew the whole time, I was like, this is Fight Club. Like... And then they do the flashback where he's like jumping off. I was like, this is Fight Club, dude. Like in Fight Club where they have all of the flashbacks and you're like, oh dude, Edward Norton was so fucked up, man. He is Tyler Durden. Yeah. I got that from like the first episode watching this shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, a lot of people have compared it to Fight Club.
I mean, I'm still down to see the second season, but okay, so what about the part where he's like freaking out in Times Square? And he sees his mom and then himself and his dad or whatever, and they're like, you can't escape us, we'll never leave you, or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You remember that? I thought that was probably like the lamest part of the whole series. Because then that kind of came to a conclusion where like you're like, oh, I don't know if any of this is real. Mm-hmm. Like this could, which would be really dumb. Like if they were like, this is all a hallucination, by the way, guys.
If season 2 starts with Elliot waking up and realizing the world is still the same, like still okay, I will probably stop watching.
Like an Oz revelation or whatever. Like when Dorothy wakes up and she was like, "You were in my dream, and so were you."
Yeah.
Like it's just that's such cheap.
And his
Hollywood
mom is
writing.
still alive, and his dad is still alive, and they're still together.
And he's in a hospital, and they're like, "We're trying to help you, man." But he's like,
I destroyed the world, you motherfuckers.
But he actually knows how to hack. Like he taught himself how to hack in his. Or what if like brain? The hacking wasn't even correct? Like people are like praising it, but he's like, yeah, dude, I just made all that shit up.
Oh man, please don't do that.
Do you think that there's will that be in the Emmys tonight? What shows do you think are going to get nominated?
Well, let's start with this and go over the nominations. Outstanding drama series.
Walking Dead is definitely going to be on there.
Better Call Saul, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, Homeland, House of Cards, Mad Men, and Orange is the New Black are the nominees.
Okay, I don't think that what was the first one that you said?
Better Call Saul.
That does not need to be one of them.
I mean, have you watched it?
No, but it doesn't need to be one. You know what? I'm speaking out. I'm gonna get so flamed.
People love it.
Flame us on Twitter, man.
I think the show is all right, but no. If I had to pick one of these to win, Thrones, or Homeland, or House of Cards, like one of those three.
I mean, Orange is the New Black kind of doesn't belong in a dramatic series either. It's like,
but isn't it?
It's pretty. I mean, it's like a black comedy, almost. I don't know. That show is good. It's just not on the same. I mean, to compare it to something like Game of Thrones is asinine.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Outstanding comedy series.
I mean, Homeland too. Holy shit, Homeland is amazing.
Yeah. Outstanding comedy series: Louie, Modern Family, Parks and Rec, Silicon Valley, Transparent, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Veep.
Okay, it's. For me, I think on those two, it's between Louie or Silicon Valley. I've seen all of those shows. I think that those are the two.
You've
best.
watched Veep?
A little bit. I didn't really get into it.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not really like my cup of tea.
People love that show.
Yeah, it's been
I haven't
on for
had
a while.
chance to watch it yet.
I might give it another chance just for the hell of it. But dude, what about like honestly? I feel like Ray Donovan kind of got left out there.
Well, we'll get there are a couple nominations for Ray Donovan.
Okay.
Outstanding lead actor in a drama series. Bob Odenkirk as Jimmy McGill in Better Call Saul. Kyle Chandler as John Rayburn in Netflix's Bloodline. Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood in House of Cards.
Yes.
John Hamm as Don Draper in Mad Men.
That could be good.
Jeff Daniels as Will McAvoy in The Newsroom.
I heard that that's really good.
And Liev Schreiber as Ray Donovan in Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan, dude. Raymond, he deserves it. He's great. Kevin Spacey is awesome, though.
His performance, both of them, they're so far from their real selves that you can truly realize what great actors they are. Dude, if you hear Liev Schreiber talk, he is not like...
He's not like
the pensive one-word Ray Donovan.
Southie bastard.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Dude, Terry is totally gonna fuck.
Oh, no.
Abby.
No. Outstanding lead actress in a drama series, Taraji P. Henson as Cookie Lyon in Fox's Empire.
Apparently that show is really fucking good.
It is
Have you
good.
watched it?
I've watched a couple episodes. It's good. Claire
She's
Danes
awesome.
as Carrie Matheson in Homeland.
God damn it, Carrie, you haven't cleaned out your refrigerator in years.
Robin Wright as Claire Underwood in House of Cards.
She's good, but this last season, she just fucking pissed me off, man. And everyone
Isn't
else.
that good acting, though? I mean,
it was good acting, but shitty writing,
yeah,
in my opinion.
No, I agree with that.
They're just, like, trying too hard to write her out. But she is
Viola
great.
Davis as Annalise Keating in How to Get Away with Murder.
Haven't seen it.
The
the face Alex just made was fucking hysterical, guys.
It's typical. Like, imagine if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had no comic book shit in it, and it was just a show.
Okay, then I would hate it.
Exactly.
When does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. come back, by the way?
Next week. Or the week
yes.
after. Yeah.
I'm so excited. This week, Gotham comes back.
Gotham. And
I don't know. I don't know.
shows.
Like, I'm probably gonna eat my words on that. I'm gonna be like, God damn it, man. But like, Gotham.
Doctor Who started last night. I still haven't had a chance to watch it. We'll
tonight.
talk about it next week.
I'm excited for that.
Elizabeth Moss as Peggy Olson in Mad Men, and
She's okay.
Tatiana Maslany as all these different characters in Orphan Black.
Have you watched that show?
No, but people love it, man. They say it's really good.
Orphan Black.
Yeah.
It's kind of racist.
Outstanding lead actor in a comedy series, Anthony Anderson as Andre Johnson in Blackish.
Who's Anthony Anderson?
The dude
from Harold and Kumar, where he's like,
burn
I'm gonna burn this motherfucker down.
Exactly. Come on,
he's
Pookie.
good. I like him.
Matt LeBlanc
Pookie.
on... I don't know what this is. It says Matt LeBlanc as Matt LeBlanc. Okay.
They're just like, we got to give this guy an award, man.
Just give him an Emmy.
He was on Friends and is not doing very well these days.
Don Cheadle as Marty Kahn on House of Lies.
I've watched 2 episodes of House of Lies, and it is not for me.
Will Forte as Phil Miller on The Last Man on Earth. Louis C.K. as Louis C.K. and Louis.
He's great.
William H. Macy as Frank Gallagher in Shameless. And Jeffrey Tambor as Maura Pfeifferman in Transparent.
Jeffrey Tambor is awesome, but
yeah.
I've got
Have you watched that show?
No.
It's an Amazon scripted original. Yeah,
that's cool. I might give it a chance. I haven't heard about it at all before.
Yeah,
but I have to say, like, I've got to give it to Louis because he does everything on that show himself. Like, he edits every episode himself on his MacBook Pro.
Really?
And he directs all of the
That's pretty awesome.
He's a fucking super talented dude, and for the amount of money that he makes on that show, like, he's so invested in that he's kind of almost left his stand-up career on hold.
Yeah,
which is weird, but because like he could be a way wealthier comedian. I mean, not that he's not he's worth like $30 million, but he could have Seinfeld money, man. I think that's what his kind of end game is. Maybe like he's like, I want to have, but that show will never be as popular as fucking Seinfeld.
Well, and he's not going to be the most popular comic forever,
dude.
That he's even said it himself.
I think that Bill Burr is funnier than Louis C.K. at this point. But
yeah.
That's a difficult thing. How was Seinfeld even so popular? Did you love
Seinfeld? There was less shows back then, man. Less networks, less shows, less people making content. I mean, you know,
yeah,
less channels in general. Like,
they're just like Larry David is a superstar.
Like, I have 1,000 channels right now. You know, like back in the '90s, people didn't have 1,000 channels; they had 60. You know,
I mean, unless you had satellite TV and you're like,
But satellite TV didn't even start until like after
Oh,
Seinfeld
yeah,
was
yeah,
probably almost over.
You're right.
Yeah.
That was for best comedic actor, right?
Yeah,
Dude.
no, best comedic actress.
Wait, we just talked about Louis C.K. That was
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
But
okay.
why? I'm kind of surprised that Larry David's not on there.
For
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious, man.
Well, I'm wondering what the Emmys are going to be like next year. We got a lot of new shows this year.
Like what?
Like Blunt Talk, like Patrick Stewart will probably be nominated.
Last night I tried to explain Blunt Talk to someone. I was like, have you seen Blunt Talk? This guy was like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, you've seen it? Because he was like totally bullshitting me. And I was like, oh, it's got Patrick Stewart in it. And he was like, yeah, perfect, dude. And I was like, you know who Patrick Stewart is? He was like, yeah. I was like, who is he? He was like, dude, I'm drunk, man. I can't. I was like, dude, he's the bald guy from Star Trek. He was like, oh yeah, the show where he's a news correspondent in L.A. I was like, yeah, dude, show is fucking awesome, man.
I still
Talk is
haven't
amazing.
watched last night's episode.
I haven't either. Did you watch the previous one though?
Yeah.
That was so where he like Moby is in it.
Yeah.
That was so fucking funny. He's like, always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn.
Yeah.
Moby's awesome.
Outstanding lead actress in a comedy series. Lisa Kudrow as Valerie Cherish in The Comeback.
I've heard that show is good too.
Yeah.
But probably not for me.
Lily Tomlin as Frankie in Grace and Frankie.
Don't even know what that is.
Amy Schumer as Amy in Inside Amy Schumer.
Is that show good? Have you seen that? You know anything about that?
Inside Amy Schumer? Yeah, it's funny.
Is it pornographic? Because that's what the title implies.
No. It's very much a sketch show like Key and Peele, just Amy Schumer.
Really? I never really took her as like a sketch comedy kind of gal.
She is. Edie Falco as Jackie Payton and Nurse Jackie.
I heard that show's good too.
It is good. Amy Poehler as Leslie Knopp in Parks and Recreation. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus as President Selena Meyer in Veep.
I don't think... I love Amy Poehler, but I don't think that she deserves a best. I think that Parks and Rec is getting a lot of love because their last season was like this last year.
Yeah.
I mean, she was kind of almost better in Wet Hot American Summer First Day of Camp, where she's like, I'm 15 years old.
I'm surprised that Wet Hot wasn't on here at all, man.
Maybe next year, because it's brand new. Came out like last month.
Let's do like 2 or 3 more categories. Outstanding supporter and actor in a drama series. The guy who plays Mike Ehrmantraut, Jonathan Banks, in Better Call Saul. Peter Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister.
Yes. He's kind of the star of that show, let's be honest.
And Michael Kelly as Doug Stamper in House of Cards. There's a couple other nominees. I just didn't say them.
Okay.
Supporting actress in a drama series, it's Lena Headey as Cersei Lannister. Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen.
Shame!
Let's see. There's someone from Orange is the New Black and Mad Men.
Who would be considered the star? This is a supporting actress.
Yeah.
Who would be considered the star of Game of Thrones?
I mean,
if it's not Cersei, Cersei's like a huge deal,
but she totally is the supporting or
Daenerys is a huge deal too.
You'd think Daenerys would be the main character, but I guess it's Jon Snow, man. But I mean,
he's dead.
Not anymore.
As a doornail.
Yeah.
It's no spoiler alert because you guys should have watched it already.
Well, okay.
If you haven't seen that,
rumors are he is not. He's coming back.
But he hasn't been seen on set at all.
Yes, he has.
Oh, really?
He was seen on set this past week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then this is Game of Thrones always knows how to throw me a curveball.
Well, I mean, this isn't really a curveball. Like most people, if you don't want to listen to this, fast forward a minute. But the general consensus is that Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen are brother and sister. They were the last children of Rhaegar. And when Ned brought home a bastard child, it wasn't really a bastard. It was his nephew, his sister's son, Jon Snow.
His sister was Targaryen?
She was married to Rhaegar, the last Targaryen king.
Really?
Yeah.
But didn't he like divorce her, or, like rape some other chick or something like that?
The thing was King Robert, before he was king, he wanted to marry his sister.
His own sister?
No, Ned Stark's sister.
Oh.
Lyanna Stark was her name. He wanted to marry her. There's also a scene where they talk about it where...
Are they family, though? Like, isn't Ned Stark his brother?
No, they're just friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but
This whole time.
there was one scene in the first season where he's talking to him about it, and it like you can see the look on Ned's face when he's saying something about how he wants to kill all the Targaryen children, but like most people believe that
That John.
that Lyanna had children, had leftover children, and one of them was Jon Snow.
Leftover children.
Well, most of
leftovers.
most of them were killed by orders of Tyrion or Tywin Lannister.
So wait, so I mean, if John is
a Targaryen,
but what is that? How could he still be alive? That doesn't explain that.
Well,
some people speculated that he's going to come back as a White Walker.
He's also a ward. Oh god, I find that theory much less favorable.
He'll be like the king of the White
No,
Walkers.
no.
With like, what if his hair just turns white? That would be ridiculous. But like, maybe he's. So you're thinking that he's not dead? Sam maybe like saves him.
No, I think Melisandre most definitely is going to save him.
Is she already back there though? I mean, how is he going to?
At the end of the season, she went back.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and
maybe
Sir Davos is still there. Like
1-1 is still there.
Yeah.
1-2. 1. I love 1-1.
He's awesome,
dude. I want to see a lot more. Honestly, that's what I'm like. I want to see a lot more 1-1 action in this.
Just more giant action in general.
1-1's the only giant left.
No, there's more.
Really?
Yeah, there's a couple left.
But 1-1 is the best. I can't believe
the other guy who died in the tunnel against the
he
five.
Was bigger.
He was the king. He was their king.
He was like
Mag the Mighty.
Mag the Mighty for sure. Fuck. They have. If you actually look their names up, their names are way longer.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, 1-1 is. It's a really adorable name for like. His name is super long. It's like 1 win 1 her 2, something like that. I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised Marco Polo didn't get nominated for anything.
Yeah.
People hate that show.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I liked it.
I love it. I think it's fun. And I thought the acting was really good. Oh, and Mr.Robot, White Rose is the dude from Jurassic World.
The dude?
Yeah.
White Rose was a woman, I thought.
White Rose was a man.
In Mr.Robot?
In drag.
It looked like a woman, convincing woman.
Dude, did you watch the very last scene of the guy who was like the priest in Ray Donovan? He's the head of Evil Corp.
Yeah.
And he's sitting with another Asian guy talking about it. That's White Rose.
Oh.
And it's very clearly a man. It's the guy from Jurassic World who was the scientist. And I was like, when we watched Jurassic World, I was like, he's been in all of those movies.
That guy?
Yeah. That's White Rose.
But he looks so much chunkier as White Rose.
You don't think that people can...
No, definitely. It was hard to tell it was him because the guy is pretty like... He's a petite man, you know?
A petite man.
Like...
He's thin? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and like real small.
That was him, dude.
Oh, okay.
And White Rose is like, I don't... And the funny thing about that...
He makes a convincing woman.
Well, the funny thing about it is we don't really know if White Rose is in fact like... If he does that just because he you know, if that's who he really is, or if he was just doing it to hide his identity and kind of like throw a curveball. Like White Rose could very well end up being like the biggest part of this next season.
That's cool.
The way that it's playing out.
I felt like cool. Dark Army was one of the coolest parts of the first season.
And like least flushed out. Like they, you know, what? God, Darlene had. I don't. What about when like Angela does ecstasy and they never really like flush that out? Her and Shayla like make out in a bathroom.
Yeah,
that was
that was Angela, right?
Yeah, Angela and Shayla, and
they kind of had a thing for each other. And Angela asks about her like later on.
She's dead. Shayla died. The one part of that show that I didn't really love, it just seemed like kind of well, I mean, it was a big part. It was like the sub arc where they had that dude who was like a crackhead, and he was Shayla's crack dealer.
Yeah.
And then he was brutal.
He was a weirdo.
He was super. Are you using AOL right now?
No, I was trying to search the nominees to see if we had anything else to talk about nomination-wise.
There's no Mr.Robot. That's too new.
I was looking for a sci-fi category, but I guess I don't have one.
Oh, Z Nation. Did you know you know that Z Nation is also produced by the Asylum?
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck those
Which
guys.
is weird because it's that show's got a second season now, and it's like a total farce of Walking Dead. It's not even good. Like it's like
have you watched iZombie?
Yeah,
That's a CW show.
That's a DC comic.
Yeah.
It's actually like that's bearable.
It's way better than Z Nation.
Oh, fuck Z Nation, dude. I tried watching. I had like a huge hunger for Walking Dead. I was like, man, I need to watch some Walking Dead. So I tried watching Z Nation, and it's just like it makes you feel sad and empty inside. The acting is bad. The zombies, the makeup are bad. Everything's bad. It's just like, oh, I'll just take what I can get, you know?
Yeah.
So you just throw yourself at it. You're settling. Yeah, that's what you're doing when you're watching Asylum movies. You're settling. You know, George R.R. Martin is in Sharknado 4.
Really?
There's a laundry list of huge celebrities. Like Frankie Muniz is in it.
Like, how did they get George R.R. Martin to be like, yeah, I'll be in your movie?
Well, each Sharknado movie has done progressively worse on Rotten Tomatoes, but the first Sharknado movie on Rotten Tomatoes is rated mostly favorably.
Yeah.
It's got like 87%, which is pretty crazy, but the whole thing is people say it's so bad it's good.
I disagree. It's so bad, it's still bad.
You watched it?
I've seen Sharknado, yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not good.
I've never seen it.
I'd much rather watch like Eight-Legged Freaks.
That's a bad movie.
I know.
Who was the guy? What even happened to the guy? No, the guy was no. That's not him. Oh yeah, Sean William Scott. I think isn't it? But Ready to Rumble. I'm talking about the other guy with like the black hair, who was in Eight-Legged Freaks.
I don't remember.
But he was in that movie Ready to Rumble too. Wasn't
Sean
Scott also in
he
that?
was in that movie too.
I think those guys are like tight or something. They're like friends. But Ready to Rumble was also not a good movie.
No.
Like those
bad
movies
movie.
were just this is bad. Those movies should get the sickness.
Yeah.
Down with the sickness.
So next week we'll make sure to let you guys know
what's going
which
on
Emmys
with
won.
The Emmys.
Which Emmys won.
Which Emmys won.
And which people we were rooting for and how they did. And hopefully I hope science fiction and like genres similar to that start to become more accepted. Like there should totally be an Emmy category for science fiction.
And superhero categories or something like that.
Comic book adaptations. Exactly.
Like especially with all the popularity that Gotham, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Flash, most notably.
Agent Carter. Peggy Carter.
Peggy?
Agent Carter. All of those shows that have a huge fan base, and you know that people would be down to see. I wouldn't necessarily watch the Emmys, but I would definitely be rooting for a lot of those people.
Yeah.
Grant Gustin's a total newcomer, and he's a great actor. The guy who played Thawne is awesome.
Yeah, he's okay.
He was good.
Yeah.
In reading The Flash, like that show takes so many liberties, but they have so his dad. What's his dad's name? Joe West.
Yeah.
That like Joe West is actually just his like boss and his friend in the
comic
but
books.
it's not, his name isn't Joe West, his name is like Kendrick or something. And in the comic books they were like, yeah, we're just gonna totally like in the show they were like, we're just gonna switch it up,
well, and like
diversify.
Iris has a brother in the comics too, and he's a speedster as well, and there's all sorts of other shit.
He Reverse Flash as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's the third Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
But none of them compare to Thawne.
No.
Like, Hunter Zolomon still doesn't compare to Thawne. I feel like this show takes a lot of liberties. They're going to be like, well, we have to top Thawne. Like,
I think that's a bad attitude. I hope that's not what they're thinking.
Thawne is totally... He uses
you want to know what I think? Force. I think the portrayal of Yobard Thawne from this last season is easy to top. I felt ultimately that he was kind of a low-stakes villain, and it was all about training Barry this whole first season.
But that's kind of bullshit.
It is.
Like, for his ultimate nemesis, they should have made... I mean, the first season was great. Hopefully Thawne comes back and he's a huge threat.
That's why I agree. I think they set it up for him to come back and truly be a threat to Barry, and that's why... Honestly, man, I would have preferred this whole next season focused on Gorilla Grodd.
Me too. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, though, the first season of Flash was a lot like the first season of Supernatural. It was just like a kind of monster of the week thing, like Rogue of the Week, which was effective for Supernatural. We're going to see what happens with Supernatural this next season, too, which is starting up in a couple weeks.
With the darkness.
The darkness! Yeah, dude. But I mean, that show has really like milked it for years. And
oh yeah.
We'll see what happens. I still tend to enjoy the Monster of the Week episodes with Supernatural.
No, me too. I hope they do more of them.
They've gotten to the point where they can totally take a different route with a lot of their stuff and be really creative too. Like for instance, there was that one werewolf episode that was told from a different perspective,
from the kids' perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
Those
too.
are some of my favorite episodes, like the crazy meta shit they do.
What
Or like the one where they get trapped in the universe where Supernatural is a TV show.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and yeah.
Do you remember the one episode where there was like the crazy family and Dean is like, "Tell you, man, I can deal with monsters and demons all day, but humans, I'll never understand them." You remember that, where there were cannibals, like it was a family of cannibals.
Don't remember.
It was in like one of the first seasons, but that's a total. I don't know what came first.
Oh, that locked up when they first met Sheriff Jody Mills.
Was that one? No, that was a zombie thing.
And the Hicks, the hillbillies had a farm, and they were keeping people trapped down there.
I didn't know they met Jody Mills on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a good episode. But then Dean was like, "I don't get these fucking people, man." But have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
No.
Are you just totally against watching that movie?
No, I was trying to. I know of it. I just haven't.
Pretty
seen
sure
it.
that's Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But that movie is really fucking good. Like for what it's worth, it's. I mean, it's not just about a cabin in the woods. Like that's a movie that you really should watch.
I also watched Ex Machina, but I'm not going to talk about it till next week. It was really fucking good.
What's Ex Machina?
It's with Oscar Isaacs and Domhnall Gleeson. It's
who's Donald Gleeson?
Domhnall.
Who's that?
He's an Irish lad.
He's Irish.
He's an Irish lad.
Is he from Cork?
It's the movie about the fucking AIs. Dude, it's really good. You should watch it.
Is it like iRobot?
No. It's totally... It's really... It takes a lot of tropes in terms of like AIs and shit like that, but it's really a unique movie. Like the story is super unique. It's Alex Garland, who's the director and writer. He did like 28 Days Later, the new Dredd movie. Yeah, he's good.
I still haven't seen the new Dredd movie.
Oh, really? With Carl Urban? It's fucking good.
Was Judge Dredd the one with
Sylvester Stallone?
That was it?
That was the original Judge Dredd.
So the new that where he like he gets sent into the future and Wesley Snipes is in it.
Yes. Wait, no. Wait. That's Demolition Man.
Oh.
And with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
No, and fucking what's his name?
Rob Schneider.
No, Rob Schneider's in Judge Dredd, not in Demolition Man.
No, he's in Demolition Man. Sandra Bullock, dude, he's one of the guys in Demolition Man, and he's like, he doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. Where like Sylvester Stallone's talking about wiping his ass. Okay. He's like, you got no toilet paper in the bathroom. He's like, you don't know how to use the 3 seashells. That's like a huge. Honestly, that's a scene that should not have been in that movie. It's so awkward to watch it.
I mean, honestly, that movie doesn't hold up very well.
They're like Taco Bell is the only restaurant in the world now.
I like that movie.
It's campy and funny.
It doesn't hold up very well.
I've got to say one thing too. You haven't watched the new South Park yet?
No.
It's very good.
I'll watch it.
Like it's, I don't know. I'm not. It's usually the other way around because you watch South Park like religiously.
No, I don't. You've assigned that to me that I watch South Park. I may have watched a lot of South Park.
You haven't seen every episode of South Park.
No, probably not. These last 3 seasons, I haven't even kept up with it.
Oh, really?
I've seen like an episode here or there. And
this last episode is about SJWs and PC culture and Caitlyn Jenner. And it's like Kyle is like not. He's like, I just didn't say that she's a charming and beautiful woman. This guy's like, what the fuck, bro? I'll fuck you up, man.
I have to watch it.
It's very good. I only saw 15 minutes of it, but it's hysterical.
You only saw? It's only 20 minutes long.
Oh, really? For some reason, they only posted. I saw it on Reddit. They only posted 15 minutes of it, but I'm gonna probably keep up with this season of South Park. What is it, like the 18th season or something?
Yeah.
That means that South Park has been on for 18 years of my life.
Yeah, it's been since like no, it's a little less. Like since 99 or 98 was the first year that
I was 7 years old.
Yeah. You know what's awesome too is sometimes it's really hard to tell newer South Park episodes apart from older ones. Like that's how just consistent they've been.
Well, that's Matt and Trey, man.
Yeah.
Like they're both. You have to consider like for them to do that and keep their content so fresh and relevant takes a lot of work. And That's why
each
those guys
new
make
week
the
they
big
have
bucks.
new shit to work with too. Like especially drawing so much from pop culture and everything that's going on.
Those
in the
guys
world.
probably read it a lot.
Yeah.
Or they see like what's going on in the news and they're like, we're gonna rag on this so hard.
They've talked about it before. They've rewritten episodes the night before they were supposed to air or some shit just to like shoehorn in some relevant topic, you know, or like shit like that.
So it's like that relevant.
Yeah.
Like it could have happened 2 days ago. And,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa, dude, that's amazing.
I'm excited for their new video game too.
You love the
Fractured
South Park video
Butthole.
games. Oh, Fractured Butthole. Yeah, totally. I've watched a clip from American Dad that kind of changed my mind on American Dad too. I think I'm going to continue watching. It's where this guy and you've watched a bit of American Dad, right?
I mean, I've seen pretty much almost every episode of
Okay,
American Dad.
you like American Dad.
Yeah.
There's one episode where like this guy's like drinking a beer and he's like fighting the vomit like to.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
think so, yeah.
Because I read this thread about chugging beer, and apparently the way that you have to chug beer is you open your throat completely and you just like let it slide down.
Uh-huh.
That's how you drink like Das Boot. That's
Okay,
Do you like I don't know if you know anything about beer chugging.
I mean, I went to high school parties the same as everyone else. I know beer chugging.
I've never seen someone chug beer like that before, though. I watched a video of these 3 Mexican kids that were in like Tijuana or something. They were doing a beer drinking contest to win like $25. And it was one of those competitions where you drink 3 beers consecutively. One's like a big mug of beer, another one's like a bottle, and then you drink like another glass of beer or something like that. And this one guy just kept puking the beer into his goblet, and he kept drinking it. And someone was like, "Wow, that guy really wants the money." So
that's disgusting.
You got to be persistent if you want you got to risk it to get the biscuit. You know what I mean?
So that's pretty much our episode. We shall see you next week. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. It'll be most appreciated. We'll read it out live on the show. Tweet us. We'll also read out your tweets on the show. Tweet us at Macro Records and use the hashtag the Macrocast.
And my name is Downlow'd. That's DOWNLOW''D. You can find more information about me at soundcloud.com/download. Hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/officialdownload. Instagram me if you so please. You could send me a direct photo or follow me on Instagram. It's at Downlow'd. Or tweet me if you want to flame me about something on this episode. You can tag Macro Records at Macro Records and hashtag the Macrocast and flame me for whatever I've said, stupid things. You know what my life is. And I'll have some new music coming out soon. Some good stuff is in the works. And thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast for all this time.